Oh, there's a name calling me out right now, so I think Ennis would be the first one for sure.
So what did you think of Boots, his performance against Xander Zayas?
It was good. It was a good performance. You know, he did his thing. I mean, Zayas did his thing too. We saw. I didn't watch the whole fight. I saw the highlights of the third round. I saw the stoppage. You know, but I'm pretty sure that's the key points of the fight, right? But you know, I saw some questionable things in the third round. You know, you know, the fans got what they wanted, right? So it's exciting, no?
Sebastian Fundora firmly rejected accusations that he had been ducking a fight with Ennis, explaining that no formal offer for that matchup was ever presented to his team. He said talks had actually been underway for a unification bout with Josh Kelly, but scheduling conflicts, including Kelly wanting to fight in England during a month that didn't work for Fundora's camp, caused those negotiations to collapse.
Well, if they have us up on the stage later on, we'll really be talking about that more. But you know, I'm not one to talk that much, really. You know, one day it looked like we were fighting him, which would sound good. You know, sound good to me. The next day, everybody's calling us things like negative things. So it's like, you know, it is what it is. That's boxing. Look at the last guy we fought, Thurman. You know. Talked a lot of stuff. I mean, we saw the end result for that, but you know, until we sign that contract or anything becomes of it, I mean, we'll let you know. We'll let you know for real. I mean, because they never offered me no fight. You guys were calling me duck for a fight that never happened. You know, if Boots didn't win the fight and Zayas won, and we didn't fight Boots, would we still be a duck? I don't think so. So you know, things need to make sense. You know, we were actually in talks for Josh Kelly to unify with him, but he wanted to fight in, I think, this month. He wants to fight in July or whatever. That didn't line up with us. And he wanted to fight in England. Again, that didn't line up with us, so that fight didn't become. But, you know, we never were, this guy wasn't champion yet. This guy wasn't even a champion yet. So to be saying stuff that's unrealistic, like you said in the beginning of the interview, to believe things from just random people, kind of sucks, but I mean, that's the sport, you know, it is what it is, you know. I'm gonna have my people, they're gonna have theirs.
On the criticism Zayas received for glancing at his corner during the fight, Fundora said he wouldn't take anything away from him, noting that Zayas is a 23-year-old unified champion who stepped up to face one of the best fighters at 154 pounds.
He did his thing. He did what he could do. I give him all the credit. I mean, unified world champion, 23 years old. He's doing his thing. I take no credit from him, you know. He fought, I guess, one of the best right now, 154. So the fact that he steps up and he takes a fight.
Fundora confirmed that if a fight with Ennis or Kelly doesn't materialize after he handles his mandatory obligation, Ortiz would be a logical next opponent, reiterating that with all the top names now under one promotional roof, there are no more excuses to avoid these fights given the money on the table.
Again, all credit to him.
You know, Virgil's one of these names in the division that doesn't have a belt, but still is, you know, kind of talked with the champions or whatever. If it isn't a Boots fight after your mandatory for whatever reason, or a Josh Kelly for whatever reason, is like Boots maybe the next guy to for sure go after, or?
Absolutely. There's no excuses, right? Now there's the zone, there's no excuses. I mean, not that I ever give you guys an excuse, but you know, there's all these fights. There's a lot of money to be made, man. The money's on the table. These guys roll into female, you never would. I would never. They're friends. Like, I wouldn't have expected that fight, but because they fight on the same network now, it only makes sense. And sense makes dollars.
On Boxing Scene Today, host Chris Algieri reported that a matchup between unified champion Jaron Boots Ennis and Virgil Ortiz Jr., arguably the biggest fight that can currently be made on U.S. soil, is very close to being finalized.
Let's talk some boxing. We've got some really good news coming down the pike. So it turns out that the biggest fight that could be made, I think, on U.S. soil, I think, arguably the biggest fight, which is Virgil Ortiz versus Jaron Ennis, or I should say maybe Jaron Ennis versus Virgil Ortiz, because Jaron is the champion now, is very close to being made. Apparently, according to Rick Meridian, he took to social medias yesterday and said, depending on a couple things with the zone, that this fight could be announced and set within the next 48 to 72 hours.
Ortiz's trainer, Robert Garcia, confirmed the report, stating that promoter Eric Gomez, Ortiz's father, and their management had all come to him seeking his blessing on on the fight, which he gave without hesitation. Garcia pushed back on the idea that Ortiz needed a tune-up bout beforehand, pointing out that Ortiz fought less than a year ago against Israil Madrimov and remains active, unlike some champions who go over a year between fights without criticism.
When it comes to obviously the business and everything, well, Rick takes care of business the way he does. Every time, you know, they talk about a fight, certain fight, whoever it is. Obviously, I'm the one that they call for the decision. I talk it over with Senior, my team, and everybody else. So that is very true. I'm gonna tell you guys, it is very true. The fight is very close. Eric Gomez, Virgil Sr., Rick Marigan, they all came to me, asked me what I think about the fight. I said, let's do it. There's no need to wait for that fight. There's no need to get a fight before that. Like a lot of people might think that Virgil needs a fight before that. No, he doesn't. Virgil fought less than a year ago. There's world champions right now that don't fight, that fight once a year or once every 18 months, and nobody says they're out of timing because of the delay. No, Virgil fought, less than a year ago. People seem to forget his performance against Madrimov. Virgil's active. Virgil's busy.
Mm-hmm.
We don't need to get a fight before that. The fight will happen. The only thing that could stop the fight is if Boots decides not to fight. But the fight on our side, I was the one that like I told you guys, Eric Gomez, Senior, Rick. I said, let's do it. There's no question. There's no doubt that we win this fight. So we're on our side. It's a done deal.
Garcia also addressed previous contract disputes involving Ortiz, Oscar de la Hoya, and Golden Boy, saying those issues have been resolved and both sides are now moving forward together. He noted that promotional relationships in boxing are inherently business-driven and prone to public friction that gets patched up when it benefits both parties, while stressing that fighters ultimately have to prioritize what's best for their own careers long after their promotional relationships end.
So all the hubbub about contract disputes and everything with Virgil, that gets set aside now, right, Coach?
It's all set aside and it's all worked out already.
So Oscar and Virgil are good now, and now we're actually moving forward. And
it's all been worked out, yes.
Right now, Oscar's saying, you worry too much. Everything is beautiful. You worry too much. But I don't trust it until it happens, because what happened to Joe Pesci after he said that?
Good point. In boxing, you guys know, we've all been through it. We've all boxed and we've all been through disputes and contracts and all that. And it's part of the business. It's part of the way boxing works. One day you could be...
Panelist Paulie Malignaggi called the matchup a terrific, marquee-level fight, noting that unlike when it was first discussed as a non-title bout, the fact that both men now hold titles makes the timing even better since it elevates the fight to unification stakes on a global stage.
After that, it just
whoever line them up.
No limit. Exactly. Line them up.
This is a terrific fight, and my only gripe with it when it was being talked about the first time with it was not a non-title fight, because I was like, two guys this good should be in a world title fight. Now
it is.
Now there's two titles.
Now I feel like the time is even better. Now it's a world title fight. Now you have a fight on the global stage that deserves to be on the global stage and will be on the global stage for all the marbles. That is if this thing can get made right now, this is the exact timing. This timing is actually more perfect, in my opinion, than the last time. Because, Coach, you're saying that you don't care about the layoff for Virgil. So I assume Virgil's been in the gym. You're telling us Virgil's been in the gym. He's been sharp. So from that perspective, the timing I think is even better now because the title's on being on the line. It makes the fight even better.
Algieri read a quote from their management stating that everyone already knows the best fight to make at 154 pounds is Ennis versus Ortiz, and that anything else amounts to ducking and excuses, putting the pressure squarely on both camps to deliver if the fight falls through.
Speaking exactly what you were saying, Robert, like you guys said, everything on your side is good. I want to get Rick Marigan's quote here on point. We all know what the best 154 pound fight is to make. Anything else is ducking and excuses. So to your point, Coach, it's done on your side. If this fight doesn't get made, whose fault is it?
Algieri asked what happens if talks instead shift toward an easier Ennis unification bout with Josh Kelly. Garcia said Ortiz's team would prefer to pursue a fight with Sebastian Fundora in that scenario, noting the WBC could effectively force that matchup given Ortiz's interim champion status and Fundora's status as the full title holder. Still, Garcia emphasized that Ennis remains the fight they specifically want and have already agreed to, and it remains their focus for now.
I got a question for you, Coach. If it does go in a different direction, say, for example, because a fight that seems like it would be really easy to make would be the Josh Kelly unification with Boots, because they're both with Matchroom.
He added that boxing and PBC would be operating under the same promotional umbrella, calling it a step forward for the sport. He said having every top fighter on the same platform removes excuses for avoiding big fights, since fans will now watch him and his rivals compete on the same network and naturally ask why those matchups aren't happening.
If it does go in a different direction, say, for example, because a fight that seems like it would be really easy to make would be the Josh Kelly unification with Boots, because they're both with Matchroom. If they go that route, are we going to see Virgil get back in regardless and just get a fight and then look to rehash this for all three belts on the line?
We would love the Fundora fight. You know, Fundora is also a world champion. You know, we
so no half stepping.
No. We want, you know, if obviously if Boots or Fundora don't happen, well then we got to move on and continue fighting and keep them busy and continue doing our thing. But no, we want those fights. It doesn't matter, you know. Obviously Boots is our main fight right there. That's the one we want, and that's the one we already agreed to. And on our side, it's a done deal. But if not, then we're gonna try to push for Fundora. The WBC could force that fight because, you know, we are the interim champions and Fundora is the WBC champion. So it's a fight that should have been made already, anyways. So why not? We could push for that too. But as of now, it looks like Boots is what's next, and that's what we're focused on.
Asked about Jaron Boots Ennis's win over Xander Zayas, Fundora said what he saw looked competitive before it eventually wasn't, praising both fighters, especially during the widely discussed third round where Ennis appeared to struggle. Fundora said he understood the instinct to get caught up in the excitement of a fight and engage more than necessary, admitting he's been guilty of the same thing himself as a fighter known for occasionally choosing to brawl on the inside when he didn't have to. He noted that Ennis still got the result he wanted despite the rough patch, and predicted a fight between the two of them would be a great matchup.
Big news about to get announced, right? Like we see it on the poster though, so you know, let the cat out of the bag a little bit. The zone working with PBC.
Yeah.
They're all under the same umbrella, bro. You guys are all under the same umbrella. I feel like this is like the dream come true.
Yes. Now, I mean, fights should be made easier now, all right? But we'll see what becomes of it, because there's so much talk. But this is a step forward for everything in boxing.
Right. I mean, just you yourself, like that's kind of a fan's perspective, right? Like, oh, it's good that they're all together. I mean,
Absolutely.
you yourself kind of feel the same way, like, oh man, it might be easier to get these things done.
Absolutely. You know, I mean, everybody fighting on the same platform, it only makes sense. You know, if there's nothing to become of this, it's kind of a letdown. But I think this is the right way to do it. Now everybody is looking everybody in the face. You know, there's no excuses.
Yilwai of YSM Sports Media pushed back on the wave of criticism directed at Jaron Boots Ennis following the third round moment in his fight against Xander Zayas, dismissing hypothetical comparisons suggesting fighters like Virgil Ortiz, Sebastian Fundora, or Terence Crawford would have gotten him out of there in the same spot. He argued that the idea Ennis gets hit too much is a myth, contending that fans and analysts hold him to an unrealistic standard simply because of how skilled he is.
Gotta get your take, brother. Xander versus Boots. Great fight.
Yeah.
Maybe a little better than people expected. I feel like Xander put a better effort than most critics were maybe giving him in that fight. Just what were your thoughts on it?
It was entertaining. From what I saw, I didn't watch the whole fight because, you know, the zone was having technical these other. It sounds kind of bad, right? What we're doing today, but you know, they're doing their thing. From what I saw, it looked competitive. It looked competitive until it wasn't, of course. But you know, that was good. Good fight for both of them.
Mm-hmm. Just what was your take on? You know, everyone's talking about the third round just because it seemed like Boots finally seemed vulnerable, kind of, in a fight. Seemed to be getting touched up. He afterwards said that, he was just having fun, but the eye test says it was, maybe a little bit of a struggle for him. What was your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I get the fun part because I'm not what's the word? But I know that feeling of falling into that fight. Yeah, I get that feeling because there's times where there's plenty of times of probably the most known fighter for going in there in the inside when I didn't have to, but yeah, I get the moments. You get falling for the hype, and you just want to make it a good fight. He still got the result he wanted. He looked good.
Ilwai specifically criticized former fighter Tim Bradley for pointing out flaws in Ennis's defense before the fight, arguing that Bradley himself absorbed significant punishment and suffered a concussion during his own career at the highest level, which Ilwai felt undermined his standing to critique fundamentals so harshly.